Here he is, look.
How are you, alright?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How's things?
Lively.
Lively,
Yeah.
as always with you.
So lively, my phone is jumping all over the place. There you go. But yeah, I was just telling the people, mate, about your adventures, mate. You've been smashing it through lockdown, haven't you?
Yeah, man, trying to keep busy. I guess you have like fluctuations in motivation. Like you start off lockdown with loads of motivation to get loads of things done. And then you get everything done in the first week and you think, I've got so much more time left. So obviously I was setting things that I wanted to do this, do these.
Yeah.
Started setting like some running challenges and things like that to try and better my cardio. I was thinking like, there's only so much running I can keep doing. You know, when you got to keep trying to switch things up. And then I think I just sat there and kind of must have watched endless YouTube videos of different home workouts to try and mix it up to keep my mind healthy, I guess. I've always had a good work ethic. I think like from a young age, my parents both kind of honed into me to work hard and not necessarily to kind of work hard in everything you do, but work hard in things you're passionate about. And I think like that's something obviously I'll take along when obviously I have kids one day, is obviously find things that you enjoy and you'll never find it like work. Obviously, before I got blessed by getting scouted by a guy called Antonis, who just come across me on the train after a night out. I was very skeptical about somebody obviously approaching me, asking me to be a model. Obviously, it's not something that you ever think somebody's going to talk to you about, or like obviously you get the odd compliment and things like that, but when somebody approaches you on a train, complete stranger, and says, "Oh, you should be a model," I think you've got a lot of potential. I'm thinking, obviously, still probably tipsy from a night out, thinking, who do you think you're talking to, kind of thing. Like,
Just wanted your number.
Yeah. Well, I don't know you, but obviously, like, I'm always as polite as possible, because you never know who you're talking to. Like, especially if they're a stranger, they could be somebody that obviously. Long story short, obviously I come home and then he kept messaging me on Instagram. I kind of stood back and was a bit like, I wasn't sure I didn't know if I trusted it. That's the best way to describe it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was a complete stranger to me. And then, luckily enough, obviously you know Luke Edmead. My girlfriend knew Luke and knew that he had done a shoot with him because it was on his wall. So she messaged Luke to make sure that everything was like cool. It was all like he was trustworthy, and then Luke
legit,
and said, "Yeah, of course, like he's really nice." Went along and met him, done a shoot in Canary Wharf, and it was probably one of the like I'm very confident I can talk to anyone, but that was like I had to build some courage for that because he wanted to take photos in Canary Wharf. It was absolutely rammed by the water. Like, everyone was walking around looking, and I'm thinking, all these people are looking at me. Like I didn't know how to deal with it. And then I got signed, and then I had to make probably the hardest decision I think I've ever had to make in my life, which was to decide between selling cars at Mercedes and doing the modelling full time, because I was doing Mercedes pretty much every day, and then the only days I had off in the week, the days I've had in the week, I was doing modelling, and then I was working on the weekend, so I never had a day off. And then ASOS were pushing for more days, and then I kind of sat down with my manager Dan, and he just said to me, "Look, like you'd be stupid not to take this and just run with it. Like at the age you are, obviously I'd done a Babyliss campaign, was my first job, which was huge. Like I didn't know half of like what the whole modelling industry was about. And then like, I was like, you know what, like I'm 23, I was 22 at the time. I said to myself, like, I've got my whole life ahead, so I'm just going to give it a go. And then obviously I left, and then I was smashing at ASOS, New Look, Top Man, Foot Asylum, Babyliss, Brawn. I'm sorry if I'm missing one. Next. I'm trying to think of everyone.
Basically, you took over the high street, basically.
I try my best.
No, 100%, mate. As I say, you know, I told everyone, I've worked with you. You're one of my favourite models. You're killing it at the minute.
Thank you.
But one of the things that we keep talking about in lives is, as I said to you, it's kind of coming here for that positivity, how to maintain, you know, through adversity. How do you keep pushing? How do you keep turning up? How do you stay positive? And for me, just the amount that you're working, the amount of brands that you keep getting asked to come back to is just a testament to your attitude. Because, you know, I'm much older than I look, I like to think anyway.
Yeah, you're in good shape, mate. Don't worry.
I've been around though, but I've been around, and you know, and it's the only thing that gets you through, and it gets you the new clients, gets you onto the next job. Is a genuine nice person. Don't get me wrong, you've got to be able to, you know, not anybody can be a model. You have got to be able to turn it on in front of the camera. So, you know, well done for you for stepping up in Canary Wharf, mate, and giving it your best blue steel.
Yeah, but I think in regards, obviously, as you say, to keeping positive and keeping that mindset. Like, at school, I was definitely one that, like, found it very hard to pay attention. You know what I'm like when I'm on set, as it is.
Yeah.
Like, all jumping around, having a good time. Me in a confined environment, it just doesn't suit me. But coming up to modelling, and there was a point in my life where things weren't as good as they are now, and weren't as, say, free going, and having that kind of broad spectrum to kind of do whatever I want, whenever I want. There was a time when, like, things weren't great, and that was like the turning point for me, where, say for instance, my girlfriend was there for me and gave me guidance in regards to, like, how to change my outlook on things in life, and to look at everything that you do have as positive, and try and isolate the negatives, and not don't think every situation is bad. Like, if you think, oh, this isn't good, there's always a positive behind the negative. You just got to look a bit further.
Yeah.
And she obviously got me into the law of attraction. And
also,
the thing called The Secret. I never really knew about this, and obviously since I met her. And I think that there was the biggest change in my life, like the biggest transition.
How serious do people take you as a model, as opposed to, like, the entrepreneurial side of you? It's kind of, because I know you've got some other things going on, but
yeah, I think the way people, the best example is probably my dad. Like, when I kind of told my dad my dreams, what I want to achieve as a model, I think he thought to, like, obviously your parents believe in you. My mum's always told me, like, reach for the stars and you can't go missing, kind of thing. Yeah. My dad's always been the one that's like, right, this is theoretically how you should do things. This is the way you should go about it. And he's kind of educated me that way. And
very practical.
I remember saying to him, oh, I've done this. And he'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And then, like, I'm like, Dad, I've done this. And he's like, oh, wicked. And then I think the big home truth for him was when he messaged me and he said, I've just seen you in Sainsbury's on a shaver box. And I think for me, it's always like, I want my parents to see me wanting to do more than just the modelling. I wouldn't want them to think that I live, because to a lot of people, modelling looks like the world's most glamorous lifestyle in the world. It looks like the easiest job. You just turn up. Or based off my stories, it looks like I just turn up, have a good time, laugh and joke and go home. Yeah. But obviously, as we say about the career length, it's kind of like football, for example. Your career is based on how well you mature technically. And I don't want to ever look back and think to myself when I'm in my 30s or 40s and think, oh, when I was 20, I was earning this much money and I had a good life. And I want to look back and think, this is what I've set up for my family and provided for my friends and family based off being clever when I was younger.
And people talk in the industry, don't they? You know, it goes round.
Oh, you haven't, like, I think that's the quickest thing I learned was, like, everyone knows everyone. And even if somebody works at Top Man and someone else works at Boohoo, for example, everyone knows each other. Even though it's a very massive industry, like, people know this stylist. Obviously, I spoke to you about Jodie doing my hair and Charlie Gray doing my hair at my first ever campaign. And obviously you went, oh yeah, I know these guys. And I'm thinking, that's the kind of thing where, like, it can actually get you a lot more work. And a lot of people don't realize this is, if I go to Top Man and I have a really good experience and they love me and everyone's having a good time, oh, Brandon's great energy, great vibe. Yeah. I don't know who you guys know that then my name gets spread about. And it's very, like, obviously bad news spreads quicker than good news, but one good word can lead to multiple good things. And I think that's the thing I've learned is, like, when you're a model, you are your own brand in a way. So
Yeah.
if I look at myself as like, say for instance, I had a company that I run, how would I like people to see that company? What would I like my reputation to be like? And that's kind of how I try and portray myself.
But you've got, you've got a huge profile. That was the word I was looking for before. Your fitness profile is on there. So it's kind of, but how does, and I see it every day. Your post, you're really passionate about Herbalife.
Yeah.
Is it a full range of supplements?
So
Is it?
yeah. So the reason why I jumped on board is because I've used a lot of products, especially when I used to play football, when I used to live in Australia, even when I come back to the UK, I never found a product that settled well with me. So like I tried the Cymax stuff, I tried Optimum Nutrition, I tried quite a few nutrition brands, and I ended up with bad gut, skin breakouts, just products that just didn't sit with me nicely. And I knew that I'd used Herbalife before, and I knew that I had no problems with it. So I thought, I'll go back to what I know works.
Yeah.
And like educate myself on it a bit better, learn a bit more about the products. And I didn't ever promote it until about 3 months after I've been using it, because I wanted to kind of do like a catalogue sweep where I tried the multivitamins, the breakfast plan, the post-workout stuff, the skincare stuff. So I done like a big catalogue where I went through most products and tried what's for me and what's not before I took it to anyone else, because I thought, until I know that I'm confident in what I'm using, I don't want to put it on any of my platforms unless I'm 100% sure that it's a product for everyone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think a lot of people think that I promote it and I get paid to promote it, but I don't. I actually invested a lot of my own money in the company. I invested a lot of my own money in learning about the products and learning about what they do for me to better my own performance and my own nutrition.
One of the things we targeted with through Croz was that, coming out of the pandemic as they are now, like salons, hairdressers, brands, you're going to need to be on point with your social media. Your digital window is your shop front now. Like that's, for me, the high street's going to struggle for a long time now. So your social content needs to be on point. And that's not always that easy, time consuming. So we try to not rebrand, but reposition some of the products that we do and some of the services I do through Croz on our website. And so the idea is to deliver digital social content for all these different brands. So like for hair and fashion specific brands. So now we've developed like a free download, which is a social content planner. We're developing trend reports for people to kind of so they can stay up to date on what's happening in the hair and fashion world. And then ultimately, deliver a service that's going to curate content for people to populate their social feeds with fashion and hair knowledge, basically. It's kind of, if we were health and fitness, we'd send you loads of pictures about nutritional products to use. But, we don't know anything about that, to be honest. So we'll stick to delivering nice pictures of hair and fashion trends. How do you see the industry going?
I think I always see like some sort of, I see any sort of wake up call in regards to the economy, global pandemic, industry change, as I always see it as a good thing, because I think everything after a period of time will always become very same, very flat. And I think sometimes you need something crazy to restructure something for the better. I think obviously it depends on how people look at it, but I think you need to look at this as an opportunity to change for the better.
Yeah.
So I think obviously there was a thing where they were talking about doing some sort of like Photoshop our bodies onto mannequins and things like that, and people were saying like, oh, your job's gone. And I was thinking, you can't beat what we do as opposed to what a mannequin would look like from a shopper's perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
I think, especially as you say with online presence, I think the high streets obviously will struggle, and I think that's where we as an industry, modelling wise, need to get very creative with what we're doing